It's a good bounce back win for us today. I thought we started the game with the right tone on the defensive end, and so that was that was by design for us to get back to.
It is the announcement that shattered the internet and finally put to rest one of the most heated debates in sports history. But the reaction from the head coach is what has everyone talking, because after months of speculation, endless arguments on social media, and a rookie season that completely rewrote the record books, Caitlin Clark has officially made her way into the Team USA system. And the response from the coaching staff is complicated, to say the least. For a long time, the narrative was that she wasn't ready, that she had to wait her turn, and that the veterans had earned their spots through years of loyalty and grind. But when you look at the numbers, the ratings, and the undeniable talent on the floor, the decision-makers simply ran out of excuses. And the moment the news dropped, all eyes turned to Coach Cheryl Reeve. This is the same coach who had to field thousands of angry questions during the Paris cycle. The same coach who famously said that roster spots aren't given out based on fan bases. So what changed? And did the coaching staff have a genuine change of heart? Or was the pressure from the league, the sponsors, and the sheer undeniable dominance of Clark just too much to ignore?
To understand the weight of this reaction, we have to look at the awkward reality of what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object, and why this happy announcement might actually be the start of a massive internal power struggle within the world's greatest basketball dynasty. But before we analyze the coach's shocking new tone, we have to go back to the decision that almost broke women's basketball. Because without understanding the snub, you cannot understand the victory. When a roster for the last major cycle was announced without Caitlin Clark's name on it, the backlash was unlike anything USA basketball had ever seen. Because usually, roster snubs are a one-day story, where a veteran gets left off, people complain, and then everyone moves on. But this was different, because this wasn't just about a player. It was about a movement, and Clark had just finished the most watched college career in history and was single-handedly selling out arenas in the WNBA. Yet, the committee decided she was not essential for the mission. The official line was about experience and chemistry, and they told us that the international game is different, more physical, and that a rookie, no matter how talented, couldn't just walk onto the greatest team in the world and expect meaningful minutes. Which sounded logical on paper, but to the fans, it felt like gatekeeping, and it felt like the old guard protecting their turf against the new face of the sport. Rumors started flying immediately that certain veteran players had whispered in the ears of the selection committee, hinting that bringing Clark along would turn the Olympics into a media circus that would distract from the team's goal of winning gold. And whether those rumors were true or not, the perception was reality for millions of fans, who saw a league that seemed resentful of its own savior. The snub created a massive divide, with Clark fans on one side and WNBA loyalists on the other. But while the internet was burning down, Caitlin Clark did the only thing she knows how to do, which was go to work. And what happened next is exactly why the committee had no choice but to reverse course. The revenge tour wasn't loud, because Clark didn't go on podcasts and trash the coach or post cryptic messages on Instagram. She just stepped onto the court and started tearing the league apart. After a rough start, where she was getting blitzed and picked up full court every single game, she adjusted. And once she adjusted, it was over for the doubters. She broke the rookie assist record. She broke the rookie scoring record. And she dropped triple doubles like they were nothing, while turning the Indiana Fever, a team that had been living in the lottery for years, into a legitimate playoff squad. And every single argument that was used to keep her off Team USA was dismantled piece by piece. They said she couldn't handle the physicality. Well, she got knocked down and got up every time. Rumors started flying immediately that certain veteran players had whispered in the ears of the selection committee, hinting that bringing Clark along would turn the Olympics into a media circus that would distract from the team's goal of winning gold. And whether those rumors were true or not, the perception was reality for millions of fans, who saw a league that seemed resentful of its own savior. The snub created a massive divide, with Clark fans on one side and WNBA loyalists on the other. And they said her defense was a liability. But she started picking pockets and reading passing lanes better than vets who had been in the league for a decade. And they said her efficiency would drop. But she started shooting from the logo with a hand in her face and draining it. So by the time the WNBA season wrapped up, it was clear that leaving her home was a mistake. Not just a marketing mistake, but a basketball mistake. The discourse shifted from she needs to wait her turn to how could you possibly leave the best playmaker in the world at home? And the pressure was mounting. And it wasn't just coming from the fans anymore. It was coming from the data. Because let's talk about the elephant in the room that no coach wants to admit, but every executive knows is true, which is the money. Team USA is a dynasty, but dynasties are expensive, and they rely on visibility. And during the games where Clark was absent, the ratings were respectable, but they were nothing compared to the explosion of viewership every time the number 22 jersey stepped on the floor. So, the networks noticed, and the sponsors, especially the big ones with swooshes on their checks, noticed. There was a report circulating that major partners were quietly furious about the missed opportunity to market Clark on the global stage in Paris.